Hey guys, so this is day 73 of the RC practice series. The first paragraph introduces various means to achieve competitive advantage. The second paragraph singles out the best way to do so, delivering on commitments. The third paragraph talks about a particular strategy employed by certain professional firms. They offer unconditional guarantees of satisfaction to gain a competitive advantage over others, over their competitors. But in the last paragraph, author points out certain counterintuitive effects of the strategy. The implications of such unconditional guarantees of satisfaction could be misleading. Sometimes the customer may also lose faith in the product. So, all in all, the author's concern is discussing one particular strategy, that is offering unconditional guarantees of satisfaction to gain competitive edge, and discussing the counterintuitive effects or the negative side, the demerits of the strategy. Question number 1, the primary function of the passage as a whole is to do what? Option A says to account for the popularity of a practice. The scope of discussion is not limited to popularity of the practice, it is also about the merits and demerits of this practice, the practice of offering unconditional guarantees of satisfaction. So I'd say it's a minor detail. Option B, evaluate the utility of a practice. The word evaluate takes care of the merits and demerits. So if you evaluate the usefulness of a practice, you talk about how beneficial it is or how uh, problematic or how troubling it could be. Option C, to demonstrate how to institute a practice. The passage is not about the mechanism to institute a practice, rather the benefits, the merits and demerits as discussed. Explain the reasons for pursuing a strategy. It only talks of the merits or the benefits of pursuing the strategy. It does not talk of the demerits. So answer choice D is half the truth. It is incomplete. Question 2, all of the following are mentioned in the passage as circumstances in which professional service firms can benefit from offering an unconditional guarantee, except. The third paragraph tells us, particularly with the first time clients, an unconditional guarantee can be an effective marketing tool if, so these are the circumstances, if the client is very cautious, firm's fees are high, etc. Option A, the firm is having difficulty retaining its clients of long standing. Retention of clients is not cited as a problem, is not cited as one of the circumstances in which the strategy could be useful. Option B, the firm is having difficulty getting business through client recommendations. Business is difficult to obtain through referrals and word of mouth. So yes, this is mentioned. The firm charges substantial fees for its services. The firm's fees are high, mentioned. The adverse effects of poor performance by the firm are significant for the client. The negative consequences of bad service are grave. So the adverse effects of poor performance by the firm are significant for the client. BCD I mentioned, A is the answer. Which of the following is cited in the passage as a goal of some professional service firms in offering unconditional guarantees of satisfaction? First line again, seeking a competitive edge, they offer unconditional guarantees of satisfaction. So the goal is seeking a competitive edge. So successful competition against other firms. B has to be the obvious answer. Option A says a limit on the firm's liability, not mentioned. That's not a goal. Ability to justify the fee increases. Now that's not the goal. that is cited as a circumstance in which the professional firms could benefit from offering unconditional guarantees of satisfaction. Also, it is not about fee increase, it's about ability to justify high fees, high charges, and not the increase in fees. So the difference in idea factually incorrect also. Attainment of an outstanding reputation in a field. In fact, author says in the last paragraph, professional service firms with outstanding reputation have little to gain from offering unconditional guarantees. So they don't gain much. They don't gain much. The firms which already have an outstanding reputation, they don't gain much by offering unconditional guarantees of satisfaction. So D is in a sense opposite. It's not the goal. Passage 4. Passage description of the issue raised by unconditional guarantees for healthcare or legal services most clearly implies which of the following. Okay. Option A, the legal and medical professions have standards of practice that would be violated by attempts to fulfill such unconditional guarantees. The standards would be violated if these firms tried to fulfill their unconditional promises, unconditional guarantees of satisfaction. This idea is alien, that the standards would be violated. Nowhere in the passage can we see something like that. The result of a lawsuit of medical procedure cannot necessarily be determined. Okay. So in the last paragraph, it was written, in legal and healthcare services, this strategy may mislead the clients by suggesting that lawsuits or medical procedures will have guaranteed outcomes, which means in reality they don't have a guaranteed outcome. So the result of lawsuit or medical procedure cannot necessarily be determined in advance. Option B should be the correct answer. The dignity of the legal and medical professions is undermined by any attempts at marketing of professional services. That the dignity will be undermined if you try to market your product or your service is an alien idea. Clients whose lawsuits or medical procedures have unsatisfactory outcomes cannot be adequately compensated by financial settlements alone. Now, there is no such talk of financial settlement, so this is also alien to the passage. Last question. Which of the following hypothetical situations best exemplifies the potential problem noted in the second sentence of the last paragraph? So second sentence of the last paragraph, with its implication that failure is possible, the guarantee may paradoxically cause the clients to doubt the service firm's ability to deliver on the promised level of service. Okay. Which means if you offer your client an unconditional satisfaction, unconditional guarantee of satisfaction, then to some clients, it may imply that failure is possible, and therefore the client begins to doubt the service firm's ability to deliver on the promised level of service, to deliver the promised level of service. Okay. Option A, an accountant's unconditional guarantee of satisfaction leads clients to believe that tax returns prepared by the accountant are certain to be inaccurate. Very tempting choice, nice answer choice. The only problematic word is certain. Passage says that unconditional guarantees lead the clients to doubt the service firm's abilities and not be certain that the service firm is incapable. The degree of this answer choice therefore is extreme, goes out. A lawyer's unconditional guarantee of satisfaction makes clients suspect, that sounds like the correct answer, at least until this point, that the lawyer needs to find new clients quickly to increase the firm's income. Now, the last part is wrong. This part is alien. Unconditional guarantees of satisfaction only lead the client to suspect or to doubt a firm's ability and not its intention, what it wants to do. A business consultant's unconditional guarantee of satisfaction is undermined when the consultant fails to provide all of the services that are promised. But that is not what the passage defines the problem as. The problem is the clients begin to doubt a firm's capability. C does not talk about doubting the firm's capability. In fact, it talks about the consequence of not meeting the promises or not delivering the promises. It's a consequence of not meeting the promise rather than simply offering unconditional guarantee of satisfaction. An architect's unconditional guarantee of satisfaction makes clients wonder how often the architect's buildings fail to please the clients. Now that's a doubt. So the clients are in doubt just because architect offered unconditional guarantee of satisfaction. They doubt that this guy has a good track record. Option D should be the correct answer. Hope you enjoyed the set. Easy to moderate. Would say 515 passage. Cheers to learning. Keep liking, keep sharing these videos so that maximum people can benefit. The cat is near, guys. Practice really hard. Until we meet again. Bye-bye.